The following non-nominated, non-award-winning program is rated D for dumb.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 325 of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Are you ready to dumb it down with me? Oh, what happened to me? I ran out of air. With me? You want to dumb it down with me? Oh, my God. You want to dumb it down with me? Come on. Let's dumb it down on the New York State Thruway. We are southbound. Southbound from Albany back home. Just finished my boxing class, third one of the week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with the boxing up in Albany at Shots Boxing. I'm posting about it on in the Dumbing It Down with Dave group, or I think more likely I'm posting about it in the Dave's Fit Life Facebook group. These are the two groups that I'm the admin of course, because they're my shows, they're my YouTube, they're my podcast. Dumbing It Down with Dave group, and also the Dave Fit Life group. Shots Boxing, SCHOTTS Boxing in Albany, New York. I've signed up for 36 classes. I actually signed up years ago, and then I did 4 classes, and then my mom had a stroke. I had to stop taking the classes. I took a break. I kind of quit on it, but not really. I just paused it. I postponed it. I could have came back to it later on, but it seemed difficult. The situation didn't seem as organic. Like my schedule, my job, everything about me, it just wasn't happening. And then last year, I had a seasonal layoff, and I wanted to go back then, but I was in such poor condition. I mean, 290 some odd pounds. I could barely walk. I could barely breathe. I could barely podcast. And I was so consumed with my unemployment insurance because that wasn't going well. And I was so consumed with my father's apartment, which I've spoken about so many times after he passed. It was such a energy suck. It was such, that sound you hear. That was the energy suck. Like everything I had was going to my unemployment. And well, Dave, how hard is it? Yeah, you know what? It's not that hard. I made it harder. And when I would get off the phone with somebody from unemployment, or if I was just stressed out because I wasn't getting any, I didn't get my unemployment checks last year until about a week or two before I went back to work. I was unemployed for 2.5 months. 2.5 months. By the way, it's weigh-in Friday. Did I mention that? It's weigh-in Friday here, and I'm talking about my unemployment from last year. Well, I'm just trying to make a point. I always speak to the human aspect of life. Why am I podcasting? Did I get to it? Is this an icebreaker? Am I just ranting? Well, it's a little bit of all three. You're getting 3 in 1. Again, I love giving you value. I really, really love giving you value. I hope you understand the value, you treasure the value, you embrace the value, and maybe you'll like the value in your mind, and you'll like the value by clicking on something that makes it a fact that you like it. I hope you share this. I would love you people to be sharing. You people. I would love you, my friend, please, my listener, to share this podcast, share this episode, and maybe rate me on Apple, give me a 5-star review or whatever. If you could mention it to your friends at work, at your circle of your poker game, your mahjong game. Mahjong? Yeah, whatever. When you go to the buffet, when you're standing there and you got that big scoop and you're scooping all those meatballs, turn to the guy or the woman or whatever on your left or right and say, hey, you ever feel like dumbing it down? You want to dumb it down a little bit? Anyway, I mean, the way you're eating, you're probably dumbing it down. You might as well dumbing it down in your mind. But anyway, that was a big energy suck. In a nutshell. This year, I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about anything, really. And so I'm on my 25th or 26th class. About 20 of them I've taken this year. Class, training, lesson, whatever you want to call it. And altogether, my weigh-in today, Friday's weigh-in, Altogether, we're saying 297. My wife is giving me the permission to use 297 because she said that's what I had when I went to the doctor the first time, in 2023. I had a doctor, he retired, then I got a new doctor, and she weighed me, and I was 297 pounds. So, last week, or the last episode I did, or the episode before that, I can't remember now. I think it was the last episode. Eat like an Olympian, feel like a king. No, eat like a king, feel like an Olympian. Yeah, well, both of them actually work. But eat like a king, feel like an Olympian. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you do, please like it, subscribe to it, follow it, share it, and all that other good stuff on your Facebook, your Twitter. I am on Twitter at Done With Dave. I am on Facebook, Dumbing It Down with Dave, facebookgroup.com, email Dumbing It Down with Dave at yahoo.com. I'm on Instagram as well. And also, if you'd rather not write, express yourself via words in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group or Twitter or here in the Spreaker chat box. I host this show on Spreaker. If you'd rather call and leave a voicemail, you can do that. You can use your voice. You know how they're always saying that? Use your voice. You use your inside voice, Dave. My wife says that to me. On the weekend, Saturday and Sunday morning when we wake up together and neither one of us are off to work or anything like that. And I'll start talking like I'm on the radio. But that's just me. I'm always on the radio because that's Dave from New York. That's how I sound. So there's nothing I can't change it. So I go, oh, I'm sorry. Would you like some bacon? I don't really want to say that. I want to say, you want me to use my inside voice? Oh, would you like to go F yourself? I get a little hostile when she tells me to quiet down. I don't like to be told what to do, especially when it's, don't be my authentic self. All right. If you'd rather just call and leave a voicemail on the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. I always forget to mention this, so I'm doing it at the top of the show now. I think it's better. I mentioned at the top of the show, you can get your phone already. You're probably listening on your phone, and when you get the urge, you can have the number ready. Put this in your phone, 347-338-8487. 347, that's easy enough, right? 347-338, there you go, a little numerical there with the sequence. 338-8487. 338-8487. That is the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. You can call and leave a 30, 60, 90-second message. I don't think there's a limit, but please keep it clean and understand I have to download it. If we're going to play it on the air, I have to download it and then play it. So the show's only 30 minutes. At least I try to make it 30 minutes. And do that. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, there you go. That's all the ways you can contact us. So, yeah, I didn't have to worry about unemployment this year. I didn't have to worry about my father's apartment this year. There were other things I had to worry about, but it didn't bother me. There wasn't an energy suck. And so I did a weigh-in today. I started at 297 pounds several months ago, and back in September or October. And today, this morning, just hours ago, I weighed myself. I've actually weighed myself twice. Once before the workout and once after the workout. So we're going to do the before the workout weight because that's probably more authentic. Obviously, after the workout, I lose some weight. And I didn't even have a great workout. I only worked out for 2 hours. I've been working out for 3 to 4 hours, which may be too much. I don't know. I'm not like one of those experts. I'm just doing what works for me. All right, so this morning, after starting off at 297 pounds, this morning I weighed 252.6 pounds. Yeah, we're so happy. Weight loss. America loves stories of weight loss. How much did you lose? I lost it all. Lost it all? No, I lost 40. That's about 45 pounds. 44.8 pounds, almost 45 pounds. And then after the workout, I lost another 2 pounds. So I was down to 250.8. Does that count? I don't know if it counts. I think, no, that's water weight and all that stuff. So whatever they say, I don't know and I don't care. I'll stick with the 252.6. And that's good enough for me, but I'm stronger. That's the point. It's why I hate the whole number thing. The point of it is to be stronger, to have more endurance, to have mental, spiritual, emotional clarity. I have more clarity. You haven't been hearing me yawning during my podcast, so I feel great. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move on. And that's it. That's the That's the Dave's Fit Life intrusion or crossover, what do you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, into Dumbing It Down with Dave. So there you go. That's the story. All right. And if you want to follow more, look on Dave's Fit Life. Everywhere you go, Dave's Fit Life, the Dave's Fit Life Facebook group and all that other good stuff. And I'll be posting a lot more about my training and all that good stuff. I love it. I love being healthy. I wish I could never go back to work and only do this for the rest of my life. I'd be in fantastical? Yeah, sure, why not? Fantastical physical condition. All right, by the way, quick weather report. Here we are. I'm in Ravenna, New York. I'm south of Albany on the New York State Thruway on I-87. As you heard at the top of the show, I usually do the show in my Kia Rio LX 2008. It's a 15-year-old car. I just did math. I had a math debate in my head. Did you hear that? Yes, no, yes. A 15-year-old car, 2008 Kia, 16 years old. Holy cow. I'm not even a good debater when it comes to, like, what? Am I doing math? I'm driving, folks. I'm driving. I'm dumbcasting. I'm podcasting. And I'm carcasting. Give me a break. Come on. So, 16-year-old car. And I usually do my podcasting there. But today I'm doing it on my Dodge Caravan. We're giving the Kia a rest until it goes into the shop. We're going to get the fuel tank fixed that has a leak. And there's some other issues that may or may not prevent me from passing inspection and, keeping that car or another couple of 100,000 miles. So anyway, here, let's do the mileage report in the Dodge Caravan. It's not that thrilling. It's only 130,105 miles. 130,105 miles. No fanfare for that. I'm on the New York State Thruway. The Kia has 324,000 miles. It's 190 more thousand miles. At least 190 more. Not bad for a Kia Rio. Who would ever think a Kia Rio would go that far? And the temperature outside is 32 degrees in upstate New York. And we have a wind advisory. A wind advisory. We're being advised as to the condition of the wind in upstate New York. Because the wind, I guess, I don't know. Here's what it says. Wind advisory, northwest winds 15 to 30 miles an hour with gusts up to 50 miles an hour. And I'm thinking, geez, how many people, other than Sister Patril from The Flying Nun, how you like that reference, huh? Who cares? I mean, I guess, okay, you're up in the trees, you're a power line guy, I guess. You're flying one of those tin can airplanes, at those little municipal airports. I guess, don't you have the airmometers for that? Airmometer? Whatever they're called. Altimeter? I don't know. No, that's altitude, isn't it? Anyway, the thing that measures wind speed. Do I really need to know? I guess, listen, thank you, Weather Channel. Thank you for providing a service for free. I don't pay for the Weather Channel app. I'm never going to pay for the premium app as far as I know. So, thank you, Weather Channel, for the wind advisory or the weather service or whoever. So there you go. And it is actually, again, I'm sorry, broken record time. I should have the sound effect of a broken record. It's a beautiful day in New York. I mean, it was way more sunny in Albany. Now I'm on the Thruway. It's cloudy, but the sun is coming through really strong from the east. It's still rising at 9:24 in the morning as I do this podcast. So it's a great day in New York. It's a great day in the van. And the Dodge Caravan is very comfortable with my captain's chair. I love the captain's chair. Way more comfortable than the bucket. I think it's called a bucket chair I have in the Kia. I think it's called a bucket chair. It's comfortable enough. I've had this car for 16 years, as I've made that very clear through my math debate. But about an hour and a half in, I'm like, my legs get numb. I got to get out of the car. I got to stretch. I got to do something. I don't always do it. Sometimes I drive through it, and then I regret it. Because then when I get to 2.5 hours, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like an old man. So you wouldn't buy a Kia Rio for comfort, even though I have the LX, which is the luxury version of the original Kia. I don't know if that's true. I think I'm making that up. I know I'm making that up. I just don't know if it's true or not. All right, so there you go. We got the weather report. We got the mileage report. We've had snow this week in New York, and we've had a false alarm. We had a big snowstorm. It was supposed to be 5 to 8 inches, then 3 to 5, then 2 to 4, and then 1 to 3. And then I woke up in the morning and there was no snow on the ground. Zero snow, and zero snow to the south of me where most people got more snow. It's just this, all of a sudden, like at the last minute, the storm said, whoop, right turn, Ralph, and south it went. And, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, they got it way worse than I did. So, I mean, I got nothing. I posted a picture about it online on Facebook. Like, hey, no snow here. Zero. I mean, absolutely zero snow. All right, so as I do the loop-de-loop here in Coxsackie, New York, Coxsackie, Coxsackie, New York. Don't call it anything worse than that because the people here get very sensitive. They don't like being made fun of. But it is a funny-sounding town. All right, so there you go. I'm doing a loop-de-loop. I'm going back. If you don't know what the loop-de-loop is, you'll have to go back into the Dumbing It Down with Dave archives. And I think I made it like a 20-part trilogy explaining what the loop-de-loop is here on the New York State Thruway. All I can tell you is it saves me a lot of money. And it's totally legal. There you go. All right, so enjoy your search through the Dumbing It Down with Dave archives. I'm sure I titled something loop-de-loop or something. I really should have it referenced on an index card along with the number to the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. So this way I can tell you where to go if you want to hear the story about the loop-de-loop. It's not fascinating. It's a story that you'll only hear on this podcast. That I will tell you. And I love pointing that out. Anybody who listens to this podcast over any extended amount of time knows I like pointing out things that happen on this podcast that you won't hear anywhere else in the world. That's what makes me different. That's what makes me interesting. That's what makes you coming back, I hope. Because I don't care what celebrity podcast you're listening to, what top-ranked podcast, what duo, what radio show. You're not going to hear a lot of things that you hear here. And so there you go. You're going to hear loop-de-loop stories only on the Dumbing It Down with Dave podcast. It's an exclusive story, an exclusive situation. And I hope I piqued your curiosity, and now you go and start researching. Okay, but come back. Don't forget to come back and enjoy the current podcast that we're doing. Episode 325 is this one. If you've missed the last couple of episodes, 320... Oh, what is this? This is 325. Yeah, 324 was Eat Like a King, Feel Like an Olympian. Eat Like a King, Feel Like an Olympian. Let's do some listeners' comments from that. Hey, let me read you the show notes. No, there was a lot. I was traveling south on a back road, and I started talking about eating carnivore. I'm eating carnivore. I'm trying not to call it a diet or a lifestyle. I just try calling it like Xeroxing. Xeroxing a copy. You don't Xerox a copy, you just Xerox. So I'm trying to just carnivore. I'm carnivoring my food. I'm just eating meat, and I've lost a considerable amount of weight, as you know. So I did a show called Eat Like a King, Feel Like an Olympian, episode 324. So let's go through listeners' comments, all right? Lynn Brunet from Vancouver Island. The kids call it VI. VI? Where are you? Oh, I'm on VI. Oh, I'm on the mainland. No, I live on VI. Vancouver Island. Very cool. Vancouver Island, I think, if memory serves me correctly, might be 5 times the size of New Jersey or something like that, or it takes 5 hours to get from the north to the south. I've talked about Vancouver Island, VI, on the show before because Lynn Brunet lives there, and she's a podcasting friend. And I can't remember exactly, but all I know is when she told me she lived on Vancouver Island, I was thinking something small like Manhattan. No, it's huge, and I can't believe it's an island. I mean, it seems like it's big enough to be its own country. I think it's actually bigger than Vancouver. Probably not. Vancouver is British Columbia, I think. Anyway, yeah, something like that. Canada. Crazy with those metric names, those metric states, metric names for... They don't. It says the territory. It sounds unfinished to me. When I was younger, I knew that United States was I knew there were continents, right? 7 continents or whatever, something like that. 8 wonders of the world, or 8 wonders of the world. Unless Andre the Giant considered a wonder of the world, they used to announce him as that. Wow, I just slid all the way off the trail into a WWE tangent. Wow, actually that was a WWWF How many W's was that? Getting back to VI. Yeah, so eight, nine wonders of the world, seven seas. How many continents? I should know all this. I'm going to write this down on an index card for next week. No, I won't. But yeah, wonders of the world, 7 seas, continents, countries, states. And growing up, I always knew that there was that. There was continents, countries, and states. All of a sudden, we learn about Canada one day, and they go, "Oh yeah, that's the Northwest Territory, whatever. That's the Yukon, or whatever." I'm like, "What do you mean? Are they finished yet? Is it territory?" Yeah, Canada has territories. They don't have, and I guess they have provinces too. I don't know what they wait. Anyway, not exactly a social studies show. Just want to make that clear. Don't look to me for geological or geographical. I knew that much at least. Geographical information. But I remember when I heard like they had territories. I'm like, what? Are they not finished yet? Are they not legal? Did they not sign the paperwork? How do they get to be a country? Canada is the country, and it's divided into different parts, whether they be territories or provinces or who knows what's going on. Anyway, so Lynn Brunet wrote, would totally love riding actual shotgun in upstate New York. Yeah, because I mentioned you're riding with me. You're riding with me. Every time I do a show, during my commute to and from work, you're riding for me. Even though I'm not at work, I'm enjoying a seasonal layoff. You're riding with me shotgun. And I'm afraid, you know what, Lynn? I appreciate you commenting on that. But I'm curious, what do you think if I put that online on Facebook? You're riding shotgun with me. You think I'd go to Facebook jail? I think I would. I was thinking about actually titling this show Riding Shotgun with Me. I'm going to do that. All right? How about this episode? We'll call it Riding Shotgun with Dave. And I was just thinking, why did they call it? Oh, yeah, because on the stagecoach, right? One guy had the reins and the other guy had the shotgun. That must be what that is. I'm just guessing. I'm not an aficionado when it comes to history. So already I've established I don't know. I'm not a good math debater this episode. What is this, back to high school? What are we doing today? I'm not a good math debater. I debated myself and I was wrong. I lost. But if I lost, then I must have won, because if I debated myself, two sides of the coin. I did geographical and geological. We talked about that. We talked about, did we get to science yet? Oh, we did the weather report. Yeah, we did a little pop culture. We did a little bit of everything today. All right, there we go. Don't cut out. Don't cut out, from class. We're dumbing it down with Dave. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. If you cut out, you miss out on all this great knowledge. And you might know what a zippity-doo-dah is. No, a loop-de-loop. I forgot what it was called real quickly. Yeah, the loop-de-loop. You learn a lot when you listen to Dumbing It Down with Dave. And there's a lot of shows in the world you won't learn anything at all. You won't learn a thing. All right, what else did Lynn Brunet write? There we go, little grammar there. Wrote, write, whatever. Use the proper tense, Dave. Catskill is where Villa Roma is. Great little town there. All right, little plug there for Villa Roma. Thank you, Lynn, for mentioning Catskill and Villa Roma. All right. Lynn Brunet wrote, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, what a great series. The ending, ... OMG. Yes, I'm not going to do a spoiler alert, but if you watch with Donald Glover and his co-star Maya, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a reimagining, I guess, a recreation based on the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. There you go, a little pop culture, a little showbiz. It was it had a different texture to it, had a different feel, a different vibe, and it was interesting, it was funny, and I think it could have been way better. I really do. I really would have liked a lot more dialogue, a lot more intelligent dialogue. I would like to have the show to gone a little slower. I think the romance sped up too quickly. I didn't buy that. I really didn't buy the romance. I bought the suspicion. There's suspicion in there. I bought that. Well, Dave, if I didn't see it, what are you talking? I don't know. All right, so watch the show and then come back to me via all the channels I mentioned earlier on the show. And let's talk about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. All right. Lynn Brunet wrote, both of our countries are suffering. Yeah, we are. There's inflation, there's crime, there's the opioid epidemic, epidermal, that I haven't been hearing much of lately, but Somehow people find opioids. I don't know. As soon as I heard opioid, I said to myself, well, whatever that is, stay away. When I heard crack cocaine back in the 70s and 80s, you know what I said to myself? Sounds bad. Stay away. Oh, well, look at that video of that guy, stumbling and dying or whatever on crack cocaine. You know what I told myself? Don't do that. But yet I read these books and journals. I read all these journals. I read the Scientific American, whatever. I read stuff. Dave, we know you don't read. You talk about it all the time. All right, well, I glance at the main idea, the first sentence. They probably shouldn't have told me that when I was a kid going to school. The first sentence of the paragraph is the main idea. That's what I usually do. I read the first sentence and then I fall asleep. But anyway, I've heard a lot about the socioeconomic issues of New York and a lot of places in the world where crack cocaine took over. And, it was because these people were socioeconomically down on the ladder and they didn't have jobs or whatever there was. And somehow they resorted to using crack cocaine. And every time I hear that, I go, I don't know. I would buy food. I would buy, I would find a way to make myself not socioeconomically. Dave, it's easy for you to say. You have family to fall back on. Yeah, I know, but I would do that. And if I couldn't do that, I would find a way to use any money I had and buy food and work my way up. I'm not too short for begging. I would beg, I guess, on the street or whatever. But the idea that somehow it's a good idea to go to crack cocaine, I don't see that. I'm not sure how anybody makes that connection. All right, I'm not doing well in life. I'm poor. I'm of a certain ethnicity. I'm going to go to crack cocaine. Yeah, I don't see that. Anyway, what else did she say? I talked about the opposite of quitting. What would you pursue? What would you move forward with? What would you explore? So I mentioned I like to master all disciplines. Whatever it is that's a discipline. It could be sewing. I'd like to know how to sew something together. Not like make a dress, although my wife and I, when we watch these old black and white movies, we're going to go past 30 minutes today, folks. There you go. Bonus. I need a bonus sound. Boing, 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 boing. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Bonus. We're going to go past the 30-minute mark. Why not? I'd like to. We watch these black and white movies, and we just saw the Heaven Can Wait original, Mr. Jordan, or Waiting for Mr. Jordan, or something like that, with I think it was Robert Montgomery and Claude Rains, and this other guy whose voice I remember from cartoons. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's the Heaven Can Wait original. The Warren Beatty was in it with Diane Cannon and Charles Grodin, I think. And Rubenstein? I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. So, there's a woman in there. She has this beautiful dress on. Like, the women in these black and white movies, 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, maybe even the 60s, but really back then, the material of the clothing is so excellent. And I like talking about excellence on the show. I like talking about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. And part of and humanity. And I like to talk about the fabric of life. I like to talk about what weaves us together, what weaves us, what keeps us adjoined, or whatever the words are I'm looking for. The stitchery, all that stuff. It's whatever. I'm looking for something I can't find. There's a word I'm looking for. I can't think of it now. But the fact that manufacturers, designers, dress designers, manufacturers were producing women's clothes that looked a certain way and were made of certain materials and were stitched in the way they were stitched, whatever it was, just screams of excellence to me. And I know that most heterosexual men, right? I'm just going to say it. You can be offended by it. You can argue it. I don't care. Let's talk about it. Talk about it here in the Spreaker chat room. Talk about it at Dumb with Dave. Talk about it in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. Or message me, via the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline that I spoke about earlier, 347-338-8487. But I watch these movies and I say to my wife, how come women don't dress like that anymore? I like the gloves. I like the hat. I really, really don't hate, I don't want to say hate, but I don't like this casual look that we accept. It's okay, I feel, at home. It's okay to dress casual. I get it. Where you going? Who's looking at you? I don't have a job. I'm just going to go to the supermarket. All right. But don't wear your pajamas. I don't know who started that. I don't know. I can't imagine who started it. But I think it's symbolic or embolic. It's emblematic. I've used that word so many times in the show, and I look it up and then I forget if that's the right way to use it. It's emblematic. It symbolizes, it speaks to the depravity. I don't know if that's the word. It speaks to the lower level of integrity, of style, of thinking, of concern, of life to me. I don't hate it. I just don't like the out of the house super casual look that we have, that men have and women have. I like these black and white movies where all the men are in suit and ties. Even if you're not an executive, even if you're not a rich man, you're on your way to somewhere, you're visiting family, dress up. Dress up. I don't like living by a lot of rules in my life, but this is one of the top 10 things. If I was to do a top 10 list, and yeah, I should do a top 10 thing list of top 10 things that I miss about the 50s, 60s, and 70s that doesn't exist anymore. We don't really have this sense of style. I think we have a sense of sluttiness. I think we have a sense of sex appeal. A lot of women don't pull it off. All right? So, men too, I don't want to sound sexist, but there are these women that are out there that wear these types of pants with bodies that it looks like they're wearing a potato sack. It looks like they got a sack of potatoes as a bum, as a rump or whatever you want, your tushy. And I look, and I don't know, what is that, cellulite? Or are you packing things in your leotards or your spandex or your yoga pants? I don't want to fat shame. Am I fat shaming? I'm not doing it intentionally. It's just that, sweetheart, that doesn't look good on you. You look like you're walking, you put like your legs into a potato sack, a burlap bag, and you put holes at the bottom for your legs to come out, and you got this burlap bag of potatoes. Idaho. Potatoes. So, casual, pajamas, yoga pants, leotards, spandex, at home, at the gym, but not in your daily walk. In your daily walk, I would love to see women wear dresses. I would love, including me, I don't want to wear a dress, but including men, including me, shirt and tie, like respectable. You know, when a person commits a crime, right? A bad crime, and they're incarcerated, or they're in county lockup, and they're going to be incarcerated, or they're going to trial, whatever it is. You know what the lawyer's supposed to do, right? We see this all the time. You know what I'm talking about. They put you in a suit, a shirt and tie, so you don't look like that criminal. They'll try to encourage you to shave, to clean yourself up. You know, so look like, oh, that's who you really are? You don't look like a mass murderer. You don't look like a burglar, like a person who steals or carjacks. You don't look like, an embezzler. Well, embezzlers, they can be clean cut. But you know what I'm saying? It's what they do. They clean you up. Why do they do that? To make you look more respectable. I think this really speaks to a much larger problem in this country of looking and acting respectable. Can't mandate it. Can't make it a rule. You can't legislate it. You just have to do it. And I think it speaks to a larger problem, this casual dress that we have. And, the dirty streets, the dirty thruway, the dirty roads, the dirty buildings. And it's like, what happened? When did we stop deciding that cleanliness was a good idea? When did we decide that fashion was, it's always been negotiable fashion, right? But, to just ignore it, I'm not saying buy a Vogue or Elle magazine and, spend $300. I'm saying tidy up and accentuate your positives and try to hide the negatives. But Dave, what does it matter? What does it matter what you look like? It doesn't matter in a superficial sense. It matters in terms of integrity, in terms of respect for your body, respect. Yeah, you could be disrespectful nutritionally and still be respectful, in attire. Yes, I get that. Listen, I can argue against myself all day. I understand what I'm saying is somewhat ridiculous, because what does that have to do with what everybody should know by now is Dave's number one most important thing is self-preservation. That is the only thing that humans, what am I here for? What's my purpose? Your purpose is self-preservation. That's your purpose. The reason why we ask that question and we often don't get an answer, and people walk the earth looking, well, I got to go find myself. I don't know who I am. You don't know who you are. You're the guy, you're the woman that's in charge of your self-preservation. That's what you do. That's what animals do, and that's what we are. Animals, mammals, humans, anything that lives and breathes is all about self-preservation. But we forgot that because life became so easy for us that we didn't have to think about it. Walk in the room, flick the switch, the power goes on. Go to the refrigerator, open the door, food is right there. Go to the stove, turn the knob. Here comes fire or electricity. Pick up the phone, talk to the world. Get the remote. You don't even have to walk up to the TV. Boom. There you go. You got 150,000 channels and there's nothing on. It's amazing how life is for us, and self-preservation really becomes something that nobody has to think about. You will be alive. You will have water. Go to the sink. Turn on the faucet. Boom. Water. You're cold. Put on the heat. Boom. You're warm. Go to the store. Buy clothes. What store? I don't know. Macy's, JCPenney's, Gimbel's, Bloomingdale's. There's like 20, 30 different clothing stores that you can go to. Yes, a lot of them are out of business. Gimbel's. There's no Gimbel's anymore. But whatever. Go to Land's End. Go to. You want high-end clothing? Forget about it. Go. It's never ending. Why are you shouting? What are you, angry? What's wrong with you? You're a moron. Screaming into the phone. Anyway, we don't have to worry about self-preservation. And your purpose, that's your purpose. Anyway, I think I've lost my my track here. I think we've gone into like 40 minutes now. Almost 40 minutes. But yeah, fashion. That's what I was talking about. I was talking about women wearing potato sacks. I would watch these black and white movies. And I tell my wife, I said, sewing, disciplines. All right, I'm back. I'm totally back to where I was when I started the show 20-some odd minutes ago. I wouldn't mind collaborating with my wife, with a tailor, a seamstress, to start making really beautiful dresses that my wife could wear, that the average woman who isn't 6'2" and 109 pounds, 100 pounds. I know that there's a big woman line. I know that, but it's like we go from Twiggy or whoever, the thin, tall, and then we go to big woman. But there's a whole bunch of women in between. Did we forget them? Anyway, yeah, one of the disciplines I would like is to be able to sew. I don't need to be a seamstress or a tailor. I just like to fix a torn tarp, a shirt, a sock. But then again, I've been throwing away a lot of socks. I actually have gotten better at throwing away socks and throwing away underwear. I don't keep them as long as I used to. I think I keep socks and underwear now. I'm down to about 5 to 10 years. But yeah, eventually there's a hole. I'll stick my finger in there, I'll just rip it and throw it out. All right, well, listen, I think that was a great show. I talked about a lot of stuff. Oh, did I finish Lynn's comments? We should. Oh, she said, both of our countries are suffering. Lynn Brunet said, tap dancing. Ooh, I like that, too. Lynn, you got to come to America. Come to New York, and we'll take tap dancing classes together. I used to be so good. She puts in a lot of O's here. 4 O's. So good. And then life happened. Sadly, there's nowhere here with adult classes. Oh, that's sad to say. That's sad to hear. That's sad to read. Lynn, yeah, tap dancing. Do it, Lynn. Go to YouTube. Come on. I'm boxing. I'm go-karting. I'm podcasting. Come on, Lynn. Get out there. Do some tap dancing. Come to New York. Move to my town. We'll find you a place here. You can live in my camper. I'll plug it in. You'll have heat and water. And you'll have a party. It won't be the biggest, but my wife will be thrilled to have you. Come here. Come on. Call me. Let's do it. Tap dancing. I'll do it with you. I'll be like the Tony Danza to your, a female tap dancer. Name one. All right. Carol somebody. Anyway, probably. I bet you there's a famous tap dancer out there. I'll put 3 to 1 odds. There's a famous Carol. Carol Channing? I bet you she was a tap dancer. You know, back in the day, didn't all entertainers sing? Didn't all entertainers tap dance? Didn't they all dance something? Weren't they all well-rounded? I feel like the entertainers today, not so much. Although I watch some TV shows and I'm amazed that some of these women can really do a lot of stuff. Anyway, all right, I'm home actually, and I think I'm into the 40s now. I'm into the 40 minutes. Is that it for Lynn? Is that all the comments? Yeah. Oh no, there was a Hal Aaron comment here. Oh yeah. Lynn Brunet says, another good one, Dave. Hey, thank you, Lynn. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was good to see Linda last week. It's good to see Lynn. And it's good to see Hal. Hal with a couple of comments. You know, Hal can't resist. He has to be funny. Can't just, come in straight up, Dave. He has to be jokey. But that's okay. I don't have any problems with being jokey. Hal Aaron says, almost time to do some car shopping. That's not jokey. Thank you, Hal. Yeah, because the Kia, 324,000 miles. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Not jokey. Thank you, Hal, for that. And good to hear from you, Hal. You say you've been listening. You haven't been commenting. So thank you. Try to click like. Try to subscribe. Try to share. You know how it is. Disrupt the algorithm for Dave. And then Hal Aaron wrote, hey, this is kind of funny. This is jokey funny. Well written, Hal, by the way. I got to give him compliments. I get annoyed with certain people, but, because I want a certain dialogue, and then I get what I don't want, and then it makes me angry, which I've expressed on the show, but I shouldn't. I should be totally 100% only appreciative. Correct? Correct. So your mother cultivated, this is Hal Aaron. So your mother cultivated a little nub that grew into a bunch of pricks. Then your dad threw them out. Sounds about right. Thumbs up emoji. That's very funny. Very good job, Hal. Great writing, great imagery, and all that good stuff. Yeah, unfortunately, it really pissed me off because I was counting on keeping that cactus, even though my wife hates cactus, for the rest of my life. And talking about those little pricks, I actually moved that cactus after my mother. No, she hadn't passed. It was she was in the nursing home. I was at my father's house, and I forgot why I moved it, to water it, to clean it, to do something. I forget what it was. And some of those pricks ended up in my eye. And nothing ever happened. I mean, I had to call 911. I had to get the ambulance to come. I was rinsing my face with water. It was kind of comedic in a way, looking back. But then again, it was a scary, scary moment. I posted about it at the time. I had this cactus dust or something was in my eye. It was horrible. Anyway, all good. And I am home. thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. It was a long one of my longest ones in a long time. Don't forget, you have the opportunity to leave a voicemail if you want. If you don't want to engage with your fingers and your pen and your typing, 347-338-8487, the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline, 347-338-8487, or type here in the Spreaker chat or anywhere your Podbean, I think, also has chat. That's it, right? That's good. Thank you. I really appreciate you. I think I did everything. If I missed out on anything, let me know. And
if you are enjoying these shows, please like and subscribe. Also, share them with your social media.
There you go. A little edited Raven outgoing message. Take care, guys. I'll see you next episode. I really, really appreciate you listening, and do the best you can to share and talk about it with the rest of the world. Let's grow this thing. Once again, we're going to work our way to episode 400. It's going to be exciting. Bye.